say Malik Willis over Jordan Love. I'm gonna lose it.
We didn't even get into starting the show before somebody brought on Malik Willis. The show literally hadn't even started yet, and the words Malik Willis already came out of somebody's mouth. All right, well, welcome back to the Wisco Fanatic Tuesday evening. We are here to talk Packers, their win over the Giants, and then preview their upcoming game at home against Minnesota. We're going to hit the intro, and then we're going to jump into the recap.
Welcome to another episode of the Wisco Fanatic Show, where we cover the Packers, Bucks, Brewers, and Badgers basketball and football teams from an optimistic and realistic perspective.
Wisco Fanatics is brought to you by Cardboard Legacy, Wisconsin's most complete sports card shop. Buy, sell, grade, and consign all at their location in Oshkosh.
Alrighty, so Packers got back in the win column against the Giants, which is good to see. So obviously this is a game that could have been a little bit different, but we're going to talk about all of that. So we're going to have the full recap. We're going to start with the pass rush.
Yeah, so I want to have a little discussion about pass rush because I feel like I know Bryant has some opinions. I'm going to keep it a little bit open-ended. I'm just going to say what I got to say, and I'm going to let you guys kind of talk about it because it's been something that needs to be talked about. So the Packers did get 2 sacks, both by Micah Parsons, both in very clutch situations. One on a 4th down in the red zone, and the other one really to end the game that forced a fumble. So those are the 2 sacks. Micah Parsons is just – that guy is just an animal, dude. Like if Myles Garrett didn't exist, everybody in the NFL would talk about Micah Parsons. And they still talk about him enough. Rightfully so. He's a monster. The guy gets triple teamed, doesn't get stopped. He's consistently every play he gets chipped by a tight end or a running back comes up and chips him. And then the guard comes over to help the tackle. And I like that Hafley moves him around, puts him, in the A gap, the B gap, kind of lets him decide where he wants to go every once in a while. But that guy is our pass rush, point blank period.
We
have another guy on the other side who wears number 52, which he needs to step up. Like point blank period, he needs to step up. You have a man that is literally taking 3 people's attention. The quarterback is looking for number 1, the offensive coordinator, the head coach, the running backs, the tight end. Everybody's looking for number 1 with a G on the side of his head. And 52, it just seems like it's nowhere to be found for majority of these games. And I don't mean to sound like I'm attacking Rashawn Gary. Actually, feel like I'm doing the opposite. I think that he could be better. I know that he could be better. I've seen him be better. And for this Packers team, which we've all complained, Bryant and I were going crazy on Sunday. I thought I was going to rip all my fucking hair out of my head watching this game. 2 drives specifically. They had 2 monster drives, one 14-play, one 16-play drive, where it was like we could not get off the field. And if Parsons doesn't get to the quarterback, it seems nobody else is going to get to the quarterback. Now, Enigbare, I'm not trying to steal any of your thunder, Tyler. He's been much better against the run. Much better against the run. Yeah. I love him against the run. He's been very good. And he does good at, taking the tackle and forcing the running backs to bounce outside. Very good. But pass rush leaves something to be desired. Now, I get that LVN hasn't played in the last few weeks, so maybe he could have been a guy the last couple of weeks that could have, upped the pass rush, or maybe gave Rashawn Gary a couple more plays off every game. I'm not sure if that's what the problem is, but Rashawn Gary needs to step up. So, Bryant, I don't know if you want to go first, if you have some opinions on it, but the pass rush needs to be better.
Yeah, no, you pretty much hit it out of the park. Look, for us to only have 24 sacks on the season or whatever it is and be bottom third of the league, it's not good enough. Rashawn Gary is quickly becoming a cut candidate post June 1st next year. Because if you look at it, it's an $8 million dead cap, but $17 million in savings, $8 million the next year, and $19 million in savings. He is not living up to that contract. And he has 7.5 sacks on this year, but he just disappears for games at a time. Even when Micah Parsons isn't getting sacks, you can see him affecting the game. Rashawn Gary, I do not see that right now. Another person that I think needs to step up, that he's coming off injury last couple games, but is Devontae Wyatt. I feel like has been kind of quiet and really hasn't been where we need him to be. And maybe we get LVN back and that helps a little bit. But I honestly, with the big contract we give to Micah, I'm not if Rashawn doesn't turn it on here, I don't be surprised if they designate him a post June 1st cut next year and save some money with him and Elton Jenkins and stuff, and get ready to reload and pay some of these people that we need to pay. Don't get me wrong. I want Rashawn to turn it around. I mean, I have a Gary jersey. I love I love his attitude and his motivation or whatever. But or maybe I could see him being the type of guy that would take a pay cut as well to stay in Green Bay. But they might need to work something out with him. So and do a more like performance based type of contract. But he should have been well on pace to get his first double-digit sack season. He needs to get there, because he has Micah helping him. So hopefully he can turn the table here. He's still a high energy guy. He's got to be better.
Jake, is there anything else you wanted to say on the pass rush? Otherwise, I'm just going to go into the D line.
No, go ahead, man. Okay. I just knew Bryant had some thoughts, so I wanted to give him a chance to say.
So I'm just going to jump in on the first of Rashawn Gary part of this. Now, I think Rashawn Gary is another guy who's been better against the run than in previous years.
Very good. Yeah.
That said, you bring up, the sack numbers and that, he's got 7.5 sacks or whatever it is on the season. Is it like 5.5 of those came in the first 3 weeks?
Yep.
Like him and Micah were 6.5, 5.5, like third and fourth in the league after 3 weeks. That's the combo that we all, and obviously Packers fans, want to see. As far as Micah Parsons goes, like Jake said, he had the 2 sacks. He also had 6 pressures. Like Jake said, one of those sacks being a game ender. Also, I've seen him called one-dimensional in some media lately. Some of it being national media, who I'm confident doesn't watch all the games. But he also led the team in run stops this week. He had a team 5 run stops. And there was one play where it was kind of a long developing running play that the Giants broke off. And he was the one running downfield to make a tackle. So I don't think his motor quits. I don't think he's one-dimensional by any means. I think he might be 2-dimensional. I don't know that I'm, ready to be dropping him out in coverage, but that's just because he's so good at the line of scrimmage that you wouldn't want to take him away from that unless you're trying to do it once or twice a game just to try to trick a quarterback. Mm-hmm. Now, before I say the other part of how I'm feeling about the defensive line, I'm going to jump in on Devontae Wyatt. He only played 34 snaps this week. So I think that's part of why it felt like he didn't do a whole lot or that he had a quiet game. He only played about half the snaps. So that to me is like a thing where he's kind of still working back from his injury a little bit. And then I also, when we get into the coaching part of it, I have something that I want to say about Jeff Hafley as well. Other than that, this game to me felt like the Carolina game as far as the defensive line is concerned, in and of the fact that I don't feel like I noticed any of them are on the field. The way the Packers played against the run is a problem. The first 10 weeks of the season, the Packers were one of the best run teams in the league. And then we got to the Carolina. Philly game was okay. And now we're at this game where it's like we were arguing last week about who's more of a mid running back or who's more, if Tyrone Tracy's more mid than Devin Singletary is washed. And they both played well.
Devin Singletary didn't do that much.
He had 2 touchdowns is the thing.
Yeah, but
nobody's going to complain that he had 2 touchdowns. That's 60% of their points.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know. They were really close. It's not like he
yardage wise,
like 20 yards.
I get that.
2 touchdowns.
But he still scored 2 touchdowns, yes.
But who got him there? It wasn't Devin Singletary.
And again, I get that, but he still scored them. He finished them. Anyways, I'm going to say a couple of other things when we get to the coaching aspect, but we'll get there when we get there. So, Simon, you can jump in on the run defense and you can talk about the mid versus washed running backs.
Yeah, I mean, Jake had to go say something about Tyrone Tracy. I guess it pissed him off. He played a pretty good game. He looked solid out there, and he ended up. This first half wasn't that bad. I thought. I think the first drive they scored pretty easily. They had some good running plays, and then they went a quarter and a half without me really thinking much of it. And then the second half, every run looked like it was like 4 or 5 yards at a time. And I think they had like a long of like 17 or something, but after that it was like 4 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards, just consistently over and over again. And it became really hard for our defense to make a stop and get off the field. So Tracy, he went 19 for 88, which is pretty good. I get 2 touchdowns, but I didn't like I don't remember Devin Singletary doing anything outside of that really that much. So he took 16 carries for 44 yards. I think Cooper was the only one that had a TFL the whole game, and the Giants forced 7 missed tackles on 38 attempts, and they had 142 yards on the ground. It's just not what this team needs to be.
Yeah. So, Bryant, I know you have a stat on as far as the running back, the running game goes.
Yeah, so when Quay Walker went out of the game, that's when Tyrone Tracy really became more effective. He was pretty much bottled up, averaging less than 4 yards a carry when Quay Walker was in. And then when he went out, he had something like 8 or 9 carries for 51 yards. So it went up to over 5 yards a carry. So Quay Walker, I will say Quay Walker missed a couple tackles on the first drive and are kind of over pursued the rushing lane, our running lane and stuff like that. But he came out and had a second better drive. But he's still, I wish he was a little more inconsistent, but he's still been a very solid, good linebacker in the NFL. So when he got hurt, he went out, and you could feel him off the field. So for overall for the linebackers, I'll say it was a pretty inconsistent game. Like I said, Quay made some nice plays, but he missed some. Luckily, it's just a stinger, so it sounds like he'll be all right. Hopefully, he gets back this week. He was hanging his arms. So I'm guessing he probably went numb on him. Edge Cooper was fine, but it's hard to if he wants to be the all-pro linebacker that we think he could eventually be, he has to make that tackle on 3rd and 15. And I know the announcers wanted to talk like they made a great, block here and there. It's like, no, dude, that play should have been blown up. He needs to wrap up. I don't know what it is with this team that they don't wrap up. You see Evan Williams flying in and try to smack somebody on a missed tackle.
I've seen a couple guys try to jump at somebody and just push.
Just wrap them up, dude. I don't understand it. Like, I get it that you're used to blowing people up in college and everything. You're not in college anymore. These dudes are all very strong, very fit, and they want to blow you up just as much as you blow them up. So just wrap them up. You know what I mean? So he did a very later in the game. It was either him or Edge on like a 3rd or 4th down. They did a really good job wrapping the guy up and pushing it to the 4th down or whatever, and stopping him short of the line. So just wrap him up. I'm once again calling for Tyron Hopper to get more snaps than McDuffie, or at least eat into those snaps. He had 8 snaps all year before last game. Look, McDuffie is okay, but he is absolutely a liability in coverage, and teams know that, and they target him. If you want just McDuffie on the field for first down because he's good at tackling and good at stopping the run, I can get behind that. But at some point, Tyron, I feel like, I get it. They see him in practice and stuff, but he's just more athletic. I just feel like he has more upside, and I want to see it. For example, I know we don't, we talk about it all the time. We don't, say PFF grades are the best, but in his 14 or 15 snaps, Hopper had a PFF grade of 65, which is above average. McDuffie had a 47.7, and that's consistent, across the board when you look at his stats and stuff. He's in coverage. He's just bad. He doesn't turn around. As much as we can say that's a really soft PI, that's how they call it in the NFL. When you don't turn around, you see Bullard make a play later in the game where he's making contact with the wide receiver at the end zone, but he turns his head and gets his hand in there and makes a play on the ball. They don't call it because he makes a play on the ball. McDuffie's just running the guy into the guy's chest. Turn around and you probably intercept the damn ball. Also, McDuffie, I don't know what he was doing on the other play that Bullard was about to intercept the freaking ball. He sees the ball deflected. He looks over and he sees his Bullard and he still runs into him. I know you're playing fast, but you need to be able to break that off. Bullard holds onto that ball if McDuffie doesn't truck him. And that's a different, an interception we could hold on to right there. So I just really want to see I don't want to see Tyron Hopper get more plays because Quay Walker's hurt. I want to see Tyron Hopper get more plays because the Packers stop with their blind allegiance to McDuffie because LaFleur knew him in college and Halfley knew him in college. He's fine for 20 snaps a game on running downs. I'll give you that. But I want to see more, get Hopper out there. We drafted him in the 3rd round. That is a 3rd round draft pick that we're refusing to play.
I don't know after this week if we could say that McDuffie's good against the run. I mean, you just talked about how when Walker went out, the running game went crazy, right?
Yeah, true.
And obviously McDuffie, dude, Quay Walker does so many things that people don't even talk about. Like, he does such a nice job getting vertical on these run plays and stuffing guards, forcing running backs to bounce to the outside. Like, he does such
Even if he's not making the tackles, he's changing where they're running.
Those are the things that when we talk about, like, things that don't show up in the box score, those don't show up in the box score.
I think he's one of the guys too that's fairly consistently like tapping the defensive lineman, move a step this way, move a step that way. Also, another thing, like you said, that doesn't show up in the box.
Yeah, so I don't understand the blind allegiance to McDuffie. I wish it would change, and I wish Hopper would at least get some snaps, and maybe we prove it. Maybe the same thing happened with the kicker. We get Hopper out there, and we're like, oh, this is why he's not playing, but at least give it a chance, because it's not like McDuffie is like crushing it.
You know, game changing. I agree with you on that, actually. Also, I have like kind of an open-ended question. What the hell happened to the rallying of the ball that we saw the first month of the season too? What the hell happened to that?
Yeah,
the Packers we were all excited, like, oh shit, we tackle now, we fly around, we hit people. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys around every ball carrier. We're tackling like crazy. We're coming out with energy. Now we have one guy over there and they miss a tackle and they get 5 extra yards and then 3 people show up. Like,
and I recall reading in spring camp about how often they're rallying to the ball and punching at the ball and everything like that. Right now, the only time I see them punching at the ball is when they shouldn't be punching at the ball and trying to tackle the guy. If you're the only guy there, you can't be punching at the ball. Let the next person come in and punch at the ball. You need to bring them to the ground. So I feel like they just need to get back to a little bit of fundamentals here. And hopefully, pulling on an ugly win where they should have had 4 interceptions and all this other stuff, hopefully that can turn the tide a little bit. You know what I mean? Give them a little confidence back. Give them feeling comfortable. The Calvary, LVN, I feel like, he practiced limited twice last week. This seems to be kind of the Packers trend. They get him back, practice a little bit. The next week they ramp him up and they play. So Jaden Reed, he'll probably practice a little bit this week. He probably won't, and then hopefully he'll play against Detroit.
Save that for when we get there. We're talking about Jaden Reed and the linebackers now.
Well, maybe he can play better than McDuffie at linebacker. I don't know.
I went and looked at Tyron Hopper's. I pulled up his college coverage numbers because he doesn't have any in the NFL. In college, he gave up 71% completion, which, I mean, McDuffie gave up 79, so it's not a far cry different. It is lower, but it's in about 20 more snaps, so McDuffie's sample size is a little bit smaller. So I guess I'm just saying if the reason for taking McDuffie off the field is because he's bad in coverage, I don't know that Hopper is the answer.
Well, I can tell you, I've seen
the SEC, and the other one played in the ACC. So
I'll also say,
which is fine.
I'll say this: I've seen one of them.
We're talking about years of difference now, too.
Yeah, and I'll say this: I've seen one of them make a big pass breakup this year so far, and I haven't seen the other one make a single one. So don't forget that 2-point conversion that Hopper broke up playing coverage on a line or tight end.
Right. I'm like I said, I'm just giving you the numbers. You're talking about one play. To be fair, talking about one play, which I understand. Yeah. But I also want to give Tyron Hopper credit for something else that he's doing. Tyron Hopper has been very good on special teams.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's not a reason to give him more plays on defense, but he's doing well in his role. I think that bodes well, obviously, for more playing time going forward, which is deserved. But I think that's potentially setting him up for a bigger role next season.
Well, I wish it'd be this season. At least give him a go at it.
I understand.
I'm not saying he'll become this shutdown coverage type, but I feel like he can at least stick with them more, and maybe that, even if he's not getting thrown at, he's closer to the proximity, and that might stop that quarterback from throwing the ball there versus, you know what I mean?
I feel like Hopper's faster too. Like, I might be wrong on that.
Absolutely
faster. Like he's faster.
He is. He ran a 4 something, I think.
Steve asked me to look at Hopper's second to last year. He had a lackluster final year. Honestly, if you look at his coverage numbers,
there's a lot of missed tackles.
He gave up 70% in his final year, and he gave up 72.4% in his second last year. So he was pretty consistently giving up about 70 to 72%.
I guess he ran
two pass breakups a year.
He ran a 4.5 at his pro day, so he was quicker at his pro day than he was at the combine. But he's definitely quick. He's definitely faster than Isaiah McDuffie.
DJ Shannon asked how we're liking Micah. We love Micah
Love him.
Parsons. He is he's our I would say our best player and our second most important player.
Yep. That's yeah. You can make an argument that he's the most important. I
You
guess.
could make the argument, and I would hear it.
Yeah.
But he's 1,000% our most important defensive player.
Oh yeah.
The only other person who is in consideration is obviously the quarterback. But okay. So Jake, 4th and 3rd down defense. I don't know why I said 4th down defense first, but 3rd and 4th down defense.
Maybe you should start a 4th down defense.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Better. Yeah,
You might have said it correctly this week, man.
that's fair.
So overall, we let them go 7 for 14, which that's not great. 11 of their 14 attempts on 3rd downs were from 3rd and 6 and in. That's not great for us. That's not great. In the first half, they went 1 for 2 in 3rd and short area, 1 for 1 3rd medium, 1 for 2 in 3rd and long. That's 3 for 5 overall in the first half, and you're like, all right. Then second half, they were like, yeah, we're gonna up the aggressiveness a shit ton here, and they were doing some things and stuff, and they were touching us in places that we didn't want to be touched, and it was bad. Everything was uncomfortable on Sunday. It was terrible. 1 for 2 in the 3rd and short, 3 for 6 the 3rd and medium. The 1 3rd and medium that we stopped was the interception. They had an entire drive where they went for it on 4th down 3 times, and they got 2 of them. So that sucked. The one that they got stopped was a sack by Micah Parsons. So quite literally would not have stopped them on that drive if Micah Parsons didn't play for the Packers, which is insane. And then they had a final drive where they converted 2 3rd mediums and a 4th down, and they scored a touchdown. That was the Jameis Winston touchdown. The Giants, they did a really nice job of staying ahead of schedule, especially in the second half, giving themselves 3rd manageables all day, it felt like. I wrote down adding Quaid leaving the game. Poor tackling, poor angles, poor execution on the defense pretty much all day, and you get what you get, where Jameis Winston, to me, kind of feels like Jacoby Brissett, where the Cardinals' offense obviously is much better without Kyler. They play on timing, play on schedule, and people were laughing at us. Oh, my God, you almost lost to a backup quarterback? Their offense is way better. Did you not just see what he just did last weekend?
Set an NFL completions record.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Jacoby Brissett can play ball.
450.
He's not going to be considered a franchise quarterback, but he's damn near going to be considered one of the best bridge quarterbacks. I'll give you that right now. You can say the same about Jameis Winston. He could take that same career path where he goes to 3-4 teams over the next couple of years, and he's a bridge quarterback for a year, and he leads you to some wins. He might even sneak into the playoffs one year because he's a guy that's thrown 30 touchdowns in a year.
Case Keenum, guy like that.
Yeah, he's good enough to do that. So that was a weird place to be, David. Well, I wouldn't know from experience. Maybe you could tell me something about yourself. I don't know. But Jameis Winston, he was accurate. There was a couple passes that were you can't guard it. Honestly,
can I jump in and just say something? If we weren't playing against Jameis and the Giants this week, I feel like all 4 of us are wanting Jameis to do well.
Oh, dude.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I love Jameis Winston.
Yeah,
he's a great dude.
He's a great guy.
Great guy.
I hope he balls out the rest of the year if he's playing in place of Jackson Dart.
Me too. I agree.
Steve had a good point. Veteran QBs are ball knowers. That is fair.
That is true.
Green Bay's ran into this weird thing this year, though. They've ran into this weird thing where they ended up having to play Joe Flacco instead of Browning. Burrow, but instead of Browning, like if we would have played Browning, I don't think that game's even. I know we won by like 9 points, but it's definitely not close at all.
No,
I think Brissett has that team playing way better than Murray did, and I think we would much rather play Wilson, who is wildly inconsistent, than we would have rather played Winston, because Winston brings a wild card to the whole thing too.
I mean,
we gave the disclaimer last week that he might throw 5 touchdowns or 5 interceptions.
Yeah,
he was obviously somewhere in between there, but
so it's kind of weird. Like everyone's like, "Oh, you played the backups." It's like, honestly, we probably played a worse situation than if we would have just played who they wanted to go with.
David made a good point. There were 5 interceptions.
I was going to say the Giants definitely got the Jameis Winston experience because there was a couple of close calls. They like I was telling you guys, like that game could have been like 40-14 or something insane.
Yeah,
like
If Carrington Valentine's hold on to those 2, and then if Isaiah McDuffie doesn't tackle Bullard.
Yeah, we'll get there. All right. Simon, how did you feel about the Packers secondary?
I thought they played pretty well this week. I thought Nixon, especially, can we just say something nice about Keyshawn Nixon? I know there was like that one, or like there was the Dallas game and like the first half of the Steelers game that he looked pretty bad. But outside of that, I think he's been super solid and 100% worth his he's not getting paid enough for what he's doing out there right now.
They should give him Nate Hobbs money.
Yeah,
Dead
plus more guaranteed. But he's been good for us this year. I'm not saying he's like
Packer on the team this week.
Yeah, I believe it. So he had 4 catches allowed on 7 attempts for 40 yards, 2 pass breakups, but he didn't allow any yards after the catch, which is stellar. I mean, he was stopping the dude as soon as they caught the ball. Bullard has also been really good this year, and he actually leads all cornerbacks in yards per reception, if that makes sense. Like if he allows a catch, he's like right. It's like a full. Sorry, go ahead.
You're talking like the least amount of yards given up.
Not the least amount of yards, the least amount of yards per catch.
Oh, okay.
So they're not like going deep on him or anything. And I understand that's kind of like a slot thing, but like it's like a full yard less than the guy ahead of him.
Bullard's been so good from like
he's
5 yards out to the line of scrimmage. He's been so good this year. But he did make that big play in the end zone this year too, or week 2. So.
And I kind of talked to not bad about him, but I said that's something that he can improve on going into last year was his cover skills, and I think he's kind of answered that. I think he could be kind of, if he keeps improving, I think he'll be our long-term slot guy.
I'm very interested to see what they do when Hobbs comes back. Are they going to do this crap where it's like we paid him, so we're going to play him type of shit? Or are they?
I don't think you can, because Valentine, I think, has been very good lately. You cannot
take Valentine off the field right now.
And that's why I'm saying, like, who are you taking off the field?
For is to spell Bullard, just to give him a couple plays off. That's the only thing I'm using him for right now. And we've talked about his contract. Hobbs'
contract is not that bad.
He could be cut after this year.
Yeah. That people look at like the whatever 66 million or whatever. It's like, oh, that's a lot. He only was 16 million guaranteed or something. It was a pretty low number.
A third of it was guaranteed, I think.
Yeah, it was a really low number.
So if we cut him pre-June 1st next year, it is 12 million dead cap. So we have to pretty much so it's not great.
But we can roster him next year. I mean, he's not good, but he's like viable. And then I don't think they keep him like long term. He's definitely like a stopgap guy, but until they figure out the outside corner situation.
And in defense, and the optimistic view we can take on Hobbs is he was injured in camp, didn't get as much time with, and he hasn't been fully healthy this year yet. So maybe he just hasn't settled into this defense yet, and there's still hope. But I don't think that's something we try to figure out this late in the season. That's more like, okay, we'll give it a go again next spring, and maybe he turns it around, you know. So
we'll see too. I mean, like there's a lot of stuff like we don't see in practices and stuff, and how he's actually feeling. And so I mean, there's a lot
of ball game left.
Yeah, I'm honestly not flailing about his contract. I'm not out there like rioting that we signed him to a contract. I don't think it's that bad of a situation. Other than that, McKinney allowed 2 catches for 9 yards. He had a pass breakup. Bullard allowed 1 catch for 11 yards and a pass breakup. Valentine had, unfortunately, 2 dropped interceptions. Like I said, the Giants definitely got the James Winston experience. It was just he kind of lucked out on a couple plays, and otherwise his stat line could have looked very different. And then Evan Williams with the game-sealing interception. I know this one was kind of on Jalen Hyatt because I don't think he ran the route is essentially what happened, but good on Evan Williams for not actually dropping the interception.
Yeah. I think the one that McKinney got the pass breakup for, I think if he doesn't touch it, I think Nixon makes an interception on that one too.
Yeah.
I was flipping out when he touched it. I said, what? It was like also natural reaction.
I mean, you can't, that's like just football.
The only one that really bothered me was McDuffie, because like I felt like McDuffie should have known that was his own guy there and not hit him. Like he should have tried to avoid him, but
Dude, he was like a bull, dude. Whatever was in his way was red, bro. He was hitting it.
David brought up a good point with Hobbs. He can be a third or fourth if we grab some corners.
Yeah, and that's not bad either.
In the first, in their first pick next year in the second round, like I'm fine keeping Hobbs for 2026 and then cutting him after next year, and that barely hurts them cap wise.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else you want to say about secondary, Simon?
No. Right. Thumbs up.
Red zone defense.
Yeah, didn't write too much down about this. It's going to be real quick. They gave up 2 touchdowns to Devin Singletary. First drive was very well scripted by the Giants. I'm going to give them some credit. That was a nice drive. The offensive coordinator was showing out there. The new interim head coach, I should say, was showing out there a little bit. And then they gave up 1 rush touchdown to Winston, where they had to convert multiple 3rd and 4th downs on the drive. And then the 2 that we stopped them were massively clutch sacks from Micah Parsons. Again, I'm going to make another correlation to the Cardinals game. Excuse me. They don't win this game without Micah Parsons, just like they don't win in Arizona without Micah Parsons. That's all I got.
All right. I just want to say Steve brought up, do you think the near picks were more about Jameis, or is it possible a sign of the DB sitting on routes more? Honestly, I think it's a little bit more Jameis. I mean, the one that we just talked about with McKinney and Nixon, that one was a little bit overthrown. The one that Bullard almost had that McDuffie knocked away from him was tipped. I mean,
the one from, I don't know, the one from Valentine where he dropped it and he started freaking out first, when he should have just been locked in and tried to find the ball. I think that was just Valentine making a play, to be honest with you. I think he was sitting on that route. So
a little bit of
I guess you could say it's a combo of both, in my opinion, Steve.
I think that's to Simon's point that you got the full Jameis Winston experience. Yeah. Before Bryant talks special teams, I just want to talk about Jeff Halfway, and I just want to throw something out that I'm going to put a pin in before we get to the previews. The Packers got beat at what they stopped by, we talked about the 2 running backs who we believe aren't that good.
Yeah.
And then I did pull up the coverage grades and coverage numbers. Depending on where you look, if you look at PFF, Nixon leads the NFL in pass breakups with 11, with second place being DJ Turner with 10. If you look on Pro Football Reference, they're both tied with 14. So either way you look, Keyshawn Nixon does lead the NFL in pass breakups. So good on him for that. Okay.
Yeah, and Carrington's been so good. I think I just looked at it because it was like, I don't recall anything against him. He was only targeted 3 times. They gave him 1 catch for 8 yards in that game, and he almost had 2 interceptions. Like, he's been so good. You do not take him off the field right now.
Agreed.
I agree.
Agreed. All right, Bryant, how do you feel about special teams?
Very special. I don't know what else to do at this point with special teams. Like, I'm so fed up with it. The kicking, I get it. They're like, oh, it's windy. Okay, well, the only kick that Koo missed was a 48-yarder extra point. Why is his extra points going in, but ours can't go in? I get it. The laces were in on the one, so that messes it up. But the other one was a bad miss too. And just like, dude, hit your extra point, especially in that kind of game. I just don't. I'm really scared we're turning into like a few years ago at kicker, or before we signed McManus last year, and it's gonna cost us games going forward if this doesn't get straightened out. Hopefully McManus, yeah, it has exactly, but hopefully McManus gets healthy, gets back, and people can stop being like, "Put this." There's one person that I won't say his name, but he's like, "Why isn't the substitute teacher out there?" It's like, bro, that is him. Like, are you watching the game, or
I put in my notes that Bisaccia is in a lose-lose situation with kickers unless whoever he puts out there makes everything.
Yep.
And I'm kind of over Bisaccia. And as far as the returning game, teams are starting to kick away from Savion. They kicked Bo Melton a couple times this week, and I was talking to you guys. I know you don't want Keyshawn out there because he's number 1 kick or CB, but at this point, put him out there because then they're probably not going to kick to him anyway. And they're going to kick to Savion, who's been, the dude's, I feel like he gets past the 30-yard line every time he gets the ball. Like, he's just very consistently getting past that, and teams are going to start kicking away from him for sure. So, Bo Melton, he's fast, but I don't feel like he can do kick returns. I don't know what it is.
I feel like he doesn't quite have the vision for it.
It's a vision.
Be nitpicky, but just kind of.
So if people start to take away Savion from us, who, by the way, I'll talk about him. He had a big in a little bit, but he had a big game or a great game again too. But just in the few chances he gets, but I do got to give kudos to Whelan because he had a fantastic game, some big punts, and that final punt that he did that pretty much, it ended the game. The game was over.
Yeah.
When he gets that punt to where he hits it, the game is over right there.
Right on the sideline too, like a 60-yarder right on them. Oh,
yeah. They had it was going to already be tough for him anyway, but he put it right on the sideline where the guy still had to catch the ball.
Yeah.
And he didn't have, and like it wasn't in the middle of the field where the guy could have went left or right. We knew he was either going out of bounds or just coming a little bit to the left. So it really helped the coverage team. Like that was just an absolute amazing punt. And then he had a 60-yarder earlier in the game. So, a really good job. He got a game ball from Matt LaFleur. Like when you can flip a field like that, just absolute weapon.
Did you know that Daniel Whelan's the highest graded punter in the NFL right now?
Oh, nice. So, yeah. His inside the 20s he had struggled with, but that's a lot of times because it's not like he's been kicking crazy amount of touchbacks either, though. So he's been hitting some bombs, and then they get a return just outside of the 20 quite a bit and stuff like that. But I'll say the snapping wasn't very good. Like there was one play where Whelan on a punt, that was this game where he had to like catch it and adjust it and get the punt off still too. Like, so the snapping's been a little bit of a concern. I know it was windy out too, but hopefully get that straightened out. But
that's
overall,
to give Whelan credit for kicking well in the wind.
Yeah, great job by Whelan. Everything else is crap. Other than Savion.
With the kick returns, I think you can put the two guys anywhere in the landing zone you want. So I don't know because I haven't really seen it. I don't.
Yes and no, but they kind of got
trying to line them up like 1-1 instead of 2.
I feel like if you do that, kickers they're gonna be able to kick it pretty close to into the landing zone to the other side. Yeah, I don't think it would work very well. I think you pretty much have to have them split like wishbone style.
Just trying to think of ways to not be able to avoid our best kick returner.
Yeah, and if they want to kick it to Keyshawn, then let them kick it to Keyshawn. If we're gonna put him out there for a random punt return here and there, like we did, like what the hell are we doing? By the way, I think we put him out there against the Eagles again, and it's like, why is he out there? If you're gonna put him out there for that, put him on the kick return where he's definitely they can't even touch him. They can't even be close to him until he touches the ball. Put him on that and let him get a full head of steam and let him just fly. If you're gonna put him out there, so if you're gonna risk him on a punt return, I get it. Our punt returner got injured or whatever it was that game, but like Dobbs was beat up with his chest, but. Put him on a freaking kick return.
Yeah. I'm down for that. Steve brought up Eric Stokes. He's having a pretty decent season.
Yeah, he looks better.
He's
happy for
him. I wouldn't, go as far as say he's having a really good season, but improved is fair. Okay. Going into the offense now. Simon, how did you feel about the tight end?
Yeah, I'll just start with it. We missed Tucker Kraft.
Yeah.
It is a slim pickings at the tight end position, and I don't know. Musgrave had a tough day. He had a drop and a fumble, had a catch for -1 yard. Josh Wiley had his first touchdown in a Packer uniform. We take those. A little rubber out on the right side of the end zone. Fitzpatrick had 1 for 5 yards, but none of these guys are going to be like difference makers. Yeah, well, and not even that, because like nobody's Tucker Kraft on this team, but there's no difference maker, huge difference maker. But I thought Musgrave looked good in blocking on his limited attempts.
I will.
Matt LaFleur did come out and say he has to have. There's no reason for him not to get more snaps in the second half. So it's not like his fumble or whatever. I think that was his last play. He actually played for the rest of the game or something like that. So they said that he did say he needs to be on the field more, but.
Yeah, I was just going to say that LaFleur said that wasn't even supposed to be a rub route.
Yep.
Yeah, he literally said that in his presser that it wasn't supposed to be a rub route. Like
it worked out.
Watson just literally trucked that fucking dude.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Wiley was wide open, dude.
He was within a yard, so it's legal.
It was.
It's legal.
And LaFleur said it too. He said it was legal. We were within a yard, but it wasn't supposed to be that way. I was like, okay, well, it looked like it. So
I'm trying to look and see just if there are any other tight ends available.
I will say that Wiley can probably be an average tight end, especially in this Packers offense where he's going to be a little bit more wide open. when Jaden Reed starts to come back. He was teasing by the way, on
I saw that
stuff, Brian. He was teasing on Instagram about his comeback. So once he comes back, I think shit starts getting real because it looks like Watson's starting to ramp it up a little bit, man. And we'll get there too. I'm not trying to get too far ahead, but I still think this offense has a chance to be really good. We'll have to see how week to week really Josh Jacobs is, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah, there's really not much out there.
Mm-mm.
You'd have to sign someone off a practice squad.
I mean, looking at like Gerald Everett.
Oof.
He's not bad, actually.
But I think he was more of a receiving tight end again. And I feel like we have that in Musgrave. We're just not using him as much.
Right.
I really like Wiley. He could be good for us.
Yeah.
And honestly, at that point, like maybe you're just kind of picking the experience. But yeah, it's slim pickings. I mean, Jordan.
Yeah,
Akins,
I think
CJ Uzomah.
Yeah, we're pretty much gonna have to roll with who we have at this point.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about something I think that we could do when I get to the wide receivers here.
Okay.
Maybe Atlanta should give us Kyle Pitts since they don't know how to fucking throw him the ball.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of guys that other teams could give us if it was.
It's no longer the trade deadline, so.
Yeah. I know, but just give him to us so you can have a career.
Yeah.
So they're not going to use him the rest of the season, anyways.
Yeah.
True.
Steve said Wiley could be a diamond in the rough, and that's why we brought up, when the Packers signed him, that we all had him in our top 10 tight ends of that draft class.
Huge target.
Yeah. So Brian, go ahead, jump into the wide receivers.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like they snapped back to last year with the drops. So going into, which was not great to see, that hurt us a lot. Like people complaining about Jordan Love. I'm like, did you watch the game or did you look at the box score? Did you watch the game or did you look at the box score? You looked at the box score because if you watch the game, you know he hit 5 wide receivers in the hands and they dropped it. PFF only gave him 4. I'm sorry, I'm giving Christian Watson a drop along the sidelines.
Yep.
Catch that. Especially when you look at some of the catches he's been making. Not taking anything away from Christian Watson. I think he's been phenomenal since his return.
Yep. Still had a great game. I said to you guys, if he makes that catch on the sideline, he'd have a god game.
Yeah, so the Packers have played 10 games. And the first 9 games of the season, they had 5 drops. This weekend, they had 5 drops. So hopefully it's just a blip on the radar and it goes away. I'll say so despite the drop, Watson played lights out. 2 extremely clutch, tough, contested touchdown catches. Love to see that. I mean, that throw from Malik, I don't know how he catches that ball and all the traffic in the guy's arm there. That's an insane catch. Even Matt LaFleur said that he went to Malik and was like, be honest with me, did you mean to throw it to Dobbs or were you going to Watson? And Malik was like, I didn't even see Dobbs coming across the face. So he meant to throw it to Watson, but that was an insane catch. And then the game winner, I mean, or the ultimate game winner was just a sick throw and catch. Also,
insane throw.
Just awesome. Matthew Golden didn't get many targets. He needs to get more targets. I'm sorry. He had 3 targets, and in those 3 targets, he had a big catch on 3rd down, and he drew a big pass interference call. People are complaining about him. It's like he played 13 snaps. He needs to play more than 13 snaps.
Okay, that's where the injury question comes in, though.
So,
was he on the snap count?
But then going on to Savion. So I don't know if you guys heard, but Savion Williams, Matt LaFleur said when he walked down, and he's like, it's not every day you see your starting kick returner in a walking boot the morning of the game. And he was like, are you going to be good to go? And he's like, yep, I'm fine. So Savion Williams arrived at the game in a walking boot and then makes that huge catch. Look at that. He can run downfield. Thank you for sending him downfield. So his 2 snaps.
Oh, I have plenty of downfield thinking.
So he had a big play. Rough game by Dobbs, but it was a nice bounce back after those first 2 early drops. He did come back and make some nice plays. And then Wicks was extremely quiet, just the 1 catch and the 1 drop, unfortunately. But what I'm thinking is this team needs to start. Reed is about to be back. There's too many good players in that wide receiver room not to have them on the field. You might need to start running some 4 wide receiver sets and just change stuff up because we no longer have Tucker Kraft. Get these players on the field, spread it out and let this shit fly, especially if Josh Jacobs is out. At this point, let Jordan Love rip it. I'm sorry, I want Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, and Romeo Doubs on the field at the same time because go ahead and point me a team in the NFL that has 4 cornerbacks that are and safety duos that are going to cover that for any amount of time. And also, our offensive line, their best trait is pass blocking. They're not as good in run blocking. Their best trait is pass blocking. So if you can get more wide receivers and more just spread it out and go back to this raid offense, it might be time for that.
Bryant, I can't say how happy it makes me to hear you speak in my fucking language that I've been saying for what it feels like 4 fucking weeks.
Yeah.
So Steve said, I've heard more good things about Justin Fields in his time in the league than I have about Jordan Love. It's crazy. Everyone wants more targets for so many players. We had 8 drives. The defense needs to get off the field and not give up 15-play drives. Our tempo doesn't give us enough bites at the apple. Should speed things up. Also, I will say we'll talk about Jordan Love in a little bit, but looking at the pass game distribution, 9 different players were targeted. All 9 had catches. So, there's so much of, this guy should get more, but then you're talking about taking away from other people. So you look at Romeo Doubs, he had 7 targets, should have, or I will say, let's say he could have had 7 receptions, should have had 6 receptions.
Yeah. I'll agree to that.
One of them was in a super tight window, did still touch his hands. I feel like if you asked Romeo Doubs, he'd probably say, I should make that catch. That would have been a really, really tough catch, but we've seen him make tough fingertip hands catches like that. The other 2 drops. Christian Watson had 5 targets, should have had 5 receptions. He had 4. If you look at Christian Watson, and he would have had 5 catches for about 69 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's a monster game.
Yeah.
Now, the breakdown of the depth of the throws. Jordan Love had 0 throws behind the line of scrimmage. Now, I'm not saying it has to be 0 every game, but I'm glad it's not 7. Jordan Love had 7 throws from 0 to 9. Both of the incompletions were drops. And then he had a touchdown to Wiley. He was 5 for 8 from 10 to 19 with 2 more credited drops, which I think could have been 3. And he could have been 8 for 8 on those intermediate throws. And then he was 3 for 5 on 20 plus. You could add a drop there for Christian Watson and a catchable ball that I think he threw to Matthew Golden. Love could have had an absolutely bonkers game.
Yep.
And I'm going to talk more about that when we get to Jordan Love. The Matthew Golden ball, I do feel was catchable. Jordan Love put it in the perfect spot, in my opinion. And again, we'll get to that. But looking at the way the game was broken down, the depth of the throws was just so much better. And it felt like Jordan Love had a really good game, even though he only completed 15 out of 30 passes or 15 out of 26 passes. 24, sorry. It shows on the tape, obviously, like Brian said, if you were actually watching the game, it doesn't feel like he completed 50% of his passes. It feels like he should have been completing about 75% of his passes. And, we'll get into that. But if you look at Jordan Love's passing grade, it was blue on PFF. It's not even green. It's beyond green in the blue at 93.4 is his passing grade. So that's where some of that opinion from PFF does get baked in, but we agree with them on this because of the drops, because of some of the crazy tight windows that he threw into. And they're downfield. And I have more to say about that when we get to Jordan Love. Steve said, did you see Jordan Love's numbers against cover 2? Almost 92% completion this year against cover 2. Love that. All right. Bryant, how did you feel about the O-line?
I feel like it's pretty much been a lot of the same. I will say that's kind of a positive sign that Ryan, I didn't really notice a big drop-off. He got blown up a couple times. That's going to happen when you're going against a top 3 person at their position in Dexter Lawrence. I mean, the guy's a monster.
Same for Jordan Morgan. He got blown up by Dexter Lawrence too, but Dexter Lawrence
is a beast. I thought overall they played fine for the most part. I didn't see a noticeable drop off between him and Jenkins. There was a couple snaps where I'm like, ooh, that was a little iffy. It's got to be a little bit better. But, Walker and Morgan definitely struggled some as well. But I thought Banks played a pretty good game in the run and pass protection. I felt like Tom, thank God the injury was just a, quick, wind knocker or whatever it was. He got right back on the field. I thought they did a good job creating some holes in the running game, like Emmanuel Wilson's long touchdown run. Before Jacobs went out, he broke off a couple runs. And then they really limited the pre-snap penalty. I think they had 2 penalties or 1 penalty the whole game. I think it's 2 on the offense line. So overall, very, one was a big hold, but
one of them's on.
But actually, that we came back, and that was on the drive that Jordan Love got hurt, and we got the touchdown on. So like, it didn't ultimately bite us, but overall, I thought it was a clean enough game against what is actually a very good defensive line. I mean, they're not slouches over there in New York. Yeah, they're missing a couple people, but they're still, they're one of their strengths is their defensive line. So
they have They have Dexter Lawrence and then 2 top 5 picks.
Yeah. So good team still. Yeah. So our good group on that team. So overall, I thought they played fine enough.
Yeah. Simon, how'd you feel about the run game?
I thought their run game was pretty all right. I mean, losing Josh Jacobs obviously sucks, and I will get there, but I don't think he's playing this week. He looked pretty good before he left. He carried the ball for seven times for 40 yards, forced a missed tackle, and then he unfortunately injured his knee on that awful turf, which is a whole nother discussion at MetLife.
Turf.
Yeah, concrete turf. Sorry, whatever.
I can't believe they're going to rip that out, put a grass in for the World Cup, and then turn around and put the turf back in.
That's literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
I don't get it either.
If you needed a better excuse to switch to grass,
seriously, just keep the grass in there.
I don't know. Wilson had carried the ball 11 times for 40 yards and a touchdown. Brooks had a carry for 8 yards. Melton took an end around for 70 yards. 17 yards.
Damn.
17 yards. Reading is not my strong suit. Love carried twice for 7 yards. And he forced a missed tackle, but man, like, he needs to chill out on some of his runs. That's how he ended up going out of the game for about 7 plays. And then Malik Willis, when he was in, had 1 carry for 16 yards. All in all, the Packers carried the ball 23 times for 128 yards and a touchdown.
Love that.
So one thing I want to ask you, I was talking about during the game too, I don't understand why when Jacobs is in, they'll spell him with Emmanuel Wilson, but when Emmanuel Wilson is in, they won't spell him with Chris Brooks, who got his 1 carry for 8 yards, is phenomenal in pass blocking, and I think he had a catch as well. It's like, why is this guy not he needs to get more snaps. If Josh Jacobs is out, I think he needs to be a 50-50 share. Emmanuel Wilson can break a run, but I think it's got to be closer to 50-50.
I don't know that it goes so far as
60-40 at least. 60-40 would probably be fine.
60-40, sure. I think realistically it's probably going to be more 70-30 just for the sake of consistency.
Yeah.
Hell no, it's going to be closer to 50-50. The Vikings blitz like 50% of the time, and Emmanuel Wilson sucks ass in pass pro, dude.
Yeah.
You trying to have Jordan Love die this week?
That's this game specifically. Agreed.
Will be 50-50.
Steve said Brooks should be our 3rd string right tackle. I'm talking like 70-30 in carries, not in
snaps. Carries. I thought you meant like snaps.
I'm talking 50-50.
Carries,
Brooks is absolutely going to play.
Absolutely.
In snaps, it should be 50-50.
Yeah, snaps, yes. Snaps.
Brooks should be our starting right guard, dude. You see that guy block? As a monster.
So strong.
Jake, how did the Packers do on 3rd and 4th down?
They were elite, to be honest with you. 7 for 11 is the elite category. They were good in 3rd and short, 1 for 1 in the first half in the 3rd and short, 1 for 1 in the 3rd and medium in the first half, and 2 for 4 from the 3rd and long range. The first 3rd and long that they picked up was a 3rd and 8 that mentioned 16-yard run by Malik, and then a touchdown. So then after that, they're 4 for 6 in the first half, which is just like, wow. And then in the second half, they were 3 for 5, 1 for 3 in the 3rd and short area, 1 for 1, 3rd and medium, 1 for 1, 3rd and long, which was the catch by Savion, which does not happen if Brooks does not pick up the blitzer. And dude, he literally blocked him for I'm not kidding, probably 6 seconds. That was insane.
A linebacker.
And that's the guy, by the way, for people who forgot, that's the guy that knocked Jordan Love out of the game in the first half. That's the same guy that hit Love, where Love had to go in and get the nice little shot and the nice little tape on him. That's the guy that laid down the law on Jordan Love earlier. And Chris Brooks, you said, don't touch my quarterback ever again. And I'm going to deliver this clutch pass on 3rd down to Savion Williams, and he's going to catch it, and it's going to be awesome. So Packers overall on 3rd down were really, really good.
Yeah, love that. Similar with the red zone. The first trip to the red zone was set up by that Malik Willis run you guys talked about. Josh Jacobs ran for 6 yards. Malik Willis threw to John Fitzpatrick for another 5. 2 more runs got him to the 1-yard line, and then a touchdown to Christian Watson on their first trip. Second trip, it was 1st and 10 at the 11, set up by a 22-yard pass from Jordan Love to Romeo Doubs, and then Emmanuel Wilson had an 11-yard touchdown run. Third trip to the red zone was a 1st and goal set up by the defensive pass interference drawn by Matthew Golden. They had 1st and goal at the 3-yard line. Emmanuel Wilson ran for a yard, and then Jordan Love threw a touchdown to Josh Wiley. And their 4th trip to the red zone was a 2nd and 7 at the 17-yard line, and Jordan Love threw a touchdown pass to Christian Watson. So the Packers were 4 for 4 in the red zone, which is great. Love to see that. Even with that snap to Jordan Love on the touchdown to Christian Watson being not a great one, which I understand. We talked about Sean Ryan getting blown up by Dexter Lawrence. It's got to be a little bit nerve-wracking being in your first full start at center and being like, all right, fuck. Now I'm looking across at Dexter Lawrence, of all people. So, not that it excuses bad snaps, but it makes it a little understandable that there's some bad snaps where you're thinking more about what you have to do after you snap the ball versus getting the ball snapped into Jordan Love's hands, which I'm sure Matt LaFleur is going to be talking to him this week, and as well Adam Stenovich and Luke Butkus. So that'll be something definitely to keep an eye on going forward. Going into the coaching and time of possession, the Giants dominated the time of possession in this game.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that the Packers were still able to win this game by 7. And then you talk about this, and I'm going to jump into the coaching aspect of this. You guys can tell me if you agree or disagree. I think this was Matt LaFleur's best game plan since the second half against Pittsburgh, and I think it was his best full game plan since Washington. The way that they moved the ball offensively, the way that they tried to move the ball offensively, instead of all this dink and dunk bullshit. And I will say, I know that I've been asking for 30 to 35 pass attempts for Jordan Love. I understand with him getting banged up that number was lower, but it still felt like they were actually being intentional about pushing the ball down the field. That's what makes me feel that this was a better game plan, because that's what Jordan Love's strength is. His best games are the ones where he lets him sling the ball downfield. I'm going to give the stats when we get to Jordan Love, but it's not a secret as to why this felt like a better Jordan Love game. Now, we're talking about without some drops and without some missed extra points, we're talking a potentially a 33, 36 to 20 final score, and we all feel much better. Now, the other thing I'm going to say, something that I said I wanted to see proven to me before I believed it was possible, is the Packers won an ugly game. That was something I wanted to see. I felt like the losses they had to Carolina and Cleveland were games that were made ugly. I think the Giants made this game kind of ugly. Obviously, the drops made it ugly on their own, as did potentially dropping some interceptions that also made the game ugly. So the Packers, made it ugly to win that way. But, the Giants, the third downs, Giants possessing the ball, running the ball with 2 running backs that we did not have a lot of faith in last week. This was an ugly game. The Packers won an ugly game. I think there should be 0 complaints about Matt LaFleur this week.
Let me jump in real quick. So the reason that I complain about LaFleur, because in football, it's not like any other sport, obviously. But in football, a lot of times, and I'm sure you guys will agree with this too, sometimes you're running stuff in the first half so you can set something up later, right?
Sure.
That's why you run the ball. You do the zone read so you can set up the play action, right? Run the ball so you can set up the pass. And sometimes people pass to set up the run. I 100% agree with you. This felt like the most rhythm the Packers have had offensively almost the entire year. I felt like everything that they did made sense. Like, we're going to run this play so this happens. And the drops, obviously, the numbers could look insane. We don't even know what it would look like if they catch them.
Like I said, let's just say they add a touchdown and make the 2 extra points. We're talking a 36 to 20 win.
Yeah, they don't have to catch every single pass because they're not going to. But you also can't have 5 to whatever. I've seen up to 7. I've seen the number 7 for drops too. So you can't have that many drops, right? And that's going to be an anomaly. But in terms of game plan and route combinations, by far the best game plan he's had all year.
I agree.
I will say the only thing that's concerning to me is, once again, like we even hear from the broadcast, it's like, oh, this is exactly how the Giants wanted the game to go. I still feel like we're trying to beat teams at their game too often then we're trying to make it so they have to beat us at our game, which I don't think a lot of teams can do. I feel like we're playing a lot of times I feel like we're playing the game that the other team wants to play versus what we want them to play. So
I think I only feel that way, honestly, in the Giants game. I only feel that way about the defense.
And
so
the running.
They wanted us to drop all those interceptions. They wanted
no. I'm saying, but like,
yes,
not playing much on the line of scrimmage and letting them,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and them running the ball and really controlling the clock against us. Like, that's, you know what I mean? That's what I'm getting at. Not
I'm not
dropping
saying you. I'm saying,
interceptions.
like, for the broadcasters, I know this was Drew
Yeah.
Brees' first career game, and I thought he was pretty good, actually. For them to say something like that is just egregious, in my opinion, because, like, okay, some of those run plays don't even happen if we catch the interceptions. So what are we talking about right now?
Yeah. But this will be a game where we cannot let the Vikings dictate the terms. Like, this is a team,
horrible,
you know.
dude.
Hold on.
Yeah. So
Okay, so let's talk about Jordan Love. So obviously the completion percentage isn't good. If you look at the box score, it's not good. But Bryant, what do you think about Jordan Love? And if you want to throw in the couple plays that Malik Willis had as well.
yeah, I mean, everyone that's the people I've seen that said, "Well, Malik Willis should start." It's like you didn't watch the game. For the one touchdown that Malik, you can't sit there and say that same scoring drive wouldn't have happened with if Jordan was on the field. They're at the 40-yard line or whatever when he got knocked out of the game. He was driving down the field, and he had made a play, and there was a hold before that. Like, so yeah, great job by Malik to get up, come in there, and make that play. I think if we want to run any RPO and stuff, I think there's something to be said that maybe we can give Malik a few snaps a game here or there. Because I feel like we didn't want to do that a couple years ago or last year because we want Jordan Love to be comfortable. But I feel like Jordan Love is mature enough and comfortable enough to where he would be fine with that. And he can, you know, I know he said that he never wants to come off the field, but he's more established now. If we know we want to run on a 3rd and 1 or whatever and kind of throw a wrinkle in, throw Malik out there and make them say, okay, are we going after Malik or are we going after the running back? Fine. I'm fine with that. Anyways, but Jordan Love should have 99.5% of the snaps going forward. Anyone that was like, thinks that Malik Willis should start over Jordan Love, they don't know ball, quite honestly. Like, they don't know ball because if Malik Willis was this great person, why is no one throwing a bunch of picks at us at the trade deadline to get Malik Willis?
I had that argument with someone yesterday.
He's a very good fit for our team. I think he might get priced out from us next year because a couple people that are QB desperate might see how well he's played when he comes in. Don't be surprised if he goes there, doesn't ball out, and he ends up back on our team somehow, and the next year or something like that. Because I feel like he's very good to come in and do what we want him to do for a game or two and run the ball. But Jordan Love, I thought he played fantastic. He was hitting. I mean, that throw to Savion and directing him. That's like the stuff we've seen out of Aaron Rodgers. That throw to Christian Watson after he bobbles that snap, he doesn't even blink, and then he throws a perfect ball to Christian Watson. I mean, he hit Romeo Dobbs, like we said a couple times, perfectly in the hands. I don't think he threw one turnover-worthy ball this whole game. Like, so I'm very happy with how he played. So.
Steve brought up a good point. He said not only do the drops affect the raw numbers, but it kills momentum, and that's way more important than the stats. Momentum is absolutely a big thing.
And there's people like, oh, he's a turnover machine. He's throwing 15 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. What are you talking about?
That narrative
that's the narrative.
It's just factually incorrect at this point.
So like
he's near the bottom. He's like bottom third in turnover worthy plays too. Yeah. It's like none of this stuff makes sense that people are saying.
And he's had those drops. He's still top 10, and he's still top 10 in yards thrown for this year. Yeah. Like, it's not like he's not having a solid season. Yeah, maybe he doesn't have the touchdown numbers we have because our offense went stale, and we want to see that get better, and he's a big part of that. But I think we can all agree that the game plan against Carolina was god awful, and the game plan against Philadelphia was god awful. That's not really on Jordan to a certain degree.
He's got as many touchdown passes as Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
He's got one less touchdown than Jalen Hurts. He's got 2 fewer touchdowns than Baker Mayfield. I mean, guys that have played 11 games, there's a handful of guys that have played more games than him, but he's got more touchdowns than Caleb and Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. And I mean, plenty of guys that have played more than he has.
The thing is, there's a couple of quarterbacks that are absolutely balling out, like Matthew Stafford's having an MVP type season.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But other than that, the next person high, is Dak Prescott at 21. Like, it's not like
Jared Goff also has 21.
So like
Drake May has 20, but he's played an extra game and he's got 5 interceptions. Rodgers has 19 touchdowns. He's got 7 interceptions.
couple of them are really bad off his wide receivers.
Some of them are tipped passes, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, Justin Herbert, guy in his draft class who's played 11 games, has 19 touchdowns, has 9 interceptions.
Look at Mahomes, 18 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, leading a 5-5 team.
Josh
But
Allen
people
is
just need to
18-7.
Like,
Bo Nix is 18-8. Sam Darnold is 17-10.
Yeah.
Tua has 17 touchdowns. He's got 13 interceptions.
Yeah.
So
So
I mean,
people need to.
plenty of guys out there committing way more turnovers than Justin Love.
People just need to chill out on Jordan Love.
Yes, and Steve brought up a good point too that his pocket presence to avoid pressure is also very good.
Yes.
I was looking at that earlier.
Simon was leading that charge, man. I'm gonna give Simon his flowers on that.
He's 22nd in the league out of qualified quarterbacks in pressure to sack percentage. Like, he's a good manipulator in the pocket. I always give him love for that part of this game.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about Jordan Love, Simon?
Love him. Toyota-thon. Let's go.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, dude.
Also pulled it up. Jordan Love is currently tied for 5th in big time throws with Drake May.
And he's 10th in the league. And he's 3rd in the league in adjusted completion percentage and 10th in the league in average depth of target.
He's also 5th in the league in QBR.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's good.
He's all right.
He's good.
He's a top 10 quarterback.
He's a top 8 quarterback in the league.
Yeah, I would say top 8-ish.
Yeah, I'm not ready to say he's top 5, but he's top 8.
If he goes out there and performs in January, there's going to be some discussions about top 5.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's all right. Toyothon's coming.
I mean, you get some of the guys who are like the kind of the 1-year wonder kind of guys, like Sam Darnold last year, who was having a good year this year. But again, those 10 interceptions with only.
Well, he did throw like 4 or 5 of them this weekend, though. So,
yeah, get a couple bad ones.
I mean, Daniel Jones this year, those kind of 1-year wonder type things skew things a little bit. But Jake, how do you feel about Jordan
Love? This was the most accurate he's been all year. I think the route combination, along with the game plan, was just having him out there. I do agree with Steve that the Packers and Jordan Love are so much better when they play with a little bit faster pace. So I would like, if you have a bad opening drive, I would. Oh, by the way, remember I talked about they haven't scored in the first quarter. They scored in the first quarter this week. So, yay, we did it. So my prediction came true, but also just allows him to kind of get into the rhythm a little bit sooner, I think. Also, he is the master of fuck it, somebody's down there throws. The master at those, dude. He's just like, go farther away. Make this one harder for me. Like, what, dog? Just chucks it up off the back foot, and I'm just like, yeah, somehow, some way, one of our guys is coming down with it. I don't know how it happens, but it's exciting every single time. Jordan Love was on one on Sunday. Honestly, if it wasn't, his numbers could look crazy, but I thought he was really, really good. Steve's kind of stealing our thunder, talking about getting rid of quick pressure in the pocket. There was a couple times where Morgan got beat early in the game, and Love just completely made the defensive lineman whiff on him, and then delivers a strike that was dropped on a 3rd down by Dobbs, unfortunately. But he was really good. Jordan Love was really good on Sunday, and I feel very good that everybody likes to clown him when he has a bad game, because you know what that means? That means that they've seen him be pretty freaking good. So when he's bad, they have to pile on.
Yep.
Yeah. Like you guys said, Jake said, just Jordan Love threw some dots this game. The drops make his stat line look bad, and if you didn't watch the game, you might think if he had a bad game. However, if you have eyes, you'll know that Jordan Love threw a lot of really catchable balls. PFF, like Brian said, credited the Packers with 4 drops. I think the number is closer to 7. Let's say 6. Let's say it's 6. And Jordan Love finishes 19 of 24 for a 79.2% completion percentage for 255 yards and 2 touchdowns. People perceive him a lot differently coming out of this game.
he still had a 65% completion percentage with the drops. Like, it's not like even his numbers don't even look bad still. It's just the yards. People are like, oh, he only threw for 174 yards. Sure. But he also threw 2 touchdowns.
Missed a handful of plays and only threw the ball 24 times.
Yeah.
And when he needed to make a throw, he made a throw, right?
He made several.
Exactly.
And like I said, even the deep ball that he threw to Matthew Golden, I still feel was catchable, and I still feel that was a very good throw. And reason being is if you see where Golden is, you see where the defender is, and you see where the sideline is, that ball lands right between Golden and the sideline. So if Golden is looking this way, not this way, and is able to get his eyes on the ball, that's just something, if you want to earn more deep field targets, be able to get the eye on the ball. That's something that even though Christian Watson, like we talked about in the Philly game last week, that he went and, batted a ball away from a defender that he could have tried to go catch, still got his eyes on the ball. The one that he dropped this week still had his eyes on the ball. The touchdown he made in the back of the end zone was fucking awesome. Christian Watson always has his eye on the ball when he's downfield, even if he's not making 100% of the catches. That's an opportunity for Matthew Golden where I feel like Jordan Love put that ball in a place where only Matthew Golden had a chance to make a play on it.
So this is a crazy correlation, but did you guys see Nick Saban talking about who he used to recruit for wide receivers and DBs? What players he used to try to recruit in high school? He talked about how he used to try to recruit baseball players because they were better at tracking the ball while running it down in the outfield. And I was like, that is a crazy thought that I never thought of. And that's maybe something where Matthew Golden could improve on a little bit.
I think it's an opportunity to improve, and I'm not complaining about Matthew Golden. I still think he has opportunities and can deserve more opportunities and more targets and stuff. But that's one of those things where if Matthew Golden goes and makes that play, then we're talking about like, okay, Matthew Golden needs to be on the field a lot more versus Matthew Golden has an opportunity to learn.
Yeah.
Two other things with Jordan Love. 3 big-time throws this week, like Bryant already said. 0 turnover with his plays. He had 3 big-time throws. That is the second highest in 2025, only to week 1 for Jordan Love. This makes me so happy. His average depth of target was 13.6.
Jeez.
Fuck yes, dude. That is his second highest in 2025, only to week 2 when it was 15. In week 1, it was 13.0, so it was very close. But, I mean, this felt so much better for Jordan Love, and it's not a secret now. We're all talking about he threw great balls. He threw downfield. Like, he made great plays. Like, it's not a secret. It shouldn't be a secret. Jordan Love is a weapon. Please stop making him throw behind the line of scrimmage 7 times, and from 0 to 9 yards, another 7, and then being like, oh, he threw 35 times. Yeah, and half of them were from 10 yards and in. So, much better this game. I have no complaints on the way that Matt LaFleur called the game offensively. I'm much happier with the way that this game went. And like I said, without the drops, this stat line looks much different. And we're talking about, hey, is this one of Jordan Love's best games of the year? Okay. Moving on. Bryant, what are you looking for from the Packers defense against the Vikings offense on Sunday at noon?
Yeah, so I think our pass rush just has to be very disruptive. JJ McCarthy is making his 6th start in the NFL. He's been sacked 15 times. He's only completing 52.9% of his passes, and he's thrown 8 interceptions versus 6 touchdowns. If we can get him the wheel spinning in his head and make him make some rush throws, I really feel like we can, create some turnovers. The one thing I'm worried we're going to do, and we've done this with a lot of people, is we're just going to play soft coverage and get them a bunch of easy completions. Like, look, any starting quarterback in the NFL, if they have time, if the pass rush isn't getting home and we're giving them easy completions, they're going to complete that ball. They are NFL caliber quarterbacks. They are in the NFL for a reason. Most of them will make those throws. I do not want to see us do that. I want to see us dictate, get up in their face. Don't be scared of JJ with this huge cut. Because guess what? If we're making the pressure, JJ McCarthy has already shown that he's not very accurate. He was overthrowing Justin Jefferson quite a bit.
Underthrowing Addison.
Yeah. So exactly. So just we need the pass rush to be just on fire right away. So need that. The linebackers need to prepared to cover Jones, and when Jones is running the ball, be very careful because, as we know as Packer fans, he can bounce that ball outside quickly and gain a big bunch of yards on a big run. So they have been pretty effective running the ball, so linebackers will need their support there for sure. Look, this team has been awful on 3rd down. They're converting 31%. Get them to some 3rd and longs, they're going to struggle. And then they have a -9 turnover ratio. So, I just feel like I need Lambeau Field to be loud, and I need our defense to come out on fire, and I think we'll be fine.
Yeah. So I looked up JJ McCarthy's numbers, he's faced Chicago twice, Atlanta, Detroit, and Baltimore.
But to be fair, this is a team that just went into Detroit and beat Detroit. So if we overlook them like we did the Browns, the Panthers, and whoever else, we can lose this game. So
there's zero chance they're overlooking a
division rival. You would hope.
Zero chance, especially one that beat us twice last year.
Yeah. I will say McCarthy's numbers, unfortunate last week. The Vikings were credited with 6 drops.
Yeah.
Now, that said, JJ McCarthy is awful under pressure. Like, super awful under pressure. As far as, like I said, those opponents that I just brought up, Micah Parsons is far and away going to be the best pass rusher that JJ McCarthy has ever seen at any level of his career. So
you've seen Adrian Hutchinson. I wouldn't say far and away. Hutchinson's good.
Hutchinson's
he's very good. Not Mike Parsons, but he's very good.
Anyways, this to Jake's point that he was making earlier, and I didn't want to bring this up because it's part of what I have in my preview notes, is I feel like it's been a few weeks since we've had a big game from Rashawn Gary. So if there's a game where you want to try to take advantage of JJ McCarthy, and I'm also going to bring this up in the coaching aspect of this, but this is also a game where I need Lucas Van Ness back, not only for his pass rush ability, but also for his run stopping. I think that's something that could have massively benefited the Packers last week when they were getting beat by the run. It's something I don't think he's still not gotten enough credit, even after you see what he's done earlier in the year and after his absence. But he's still not getting enough credit for how good of a run defender he's been. So I want LVN back this week, and then I'm hoping that Devontae Wyatt is healthier and playing more than 34 snaps, about 50% of the snaps. Steve, I'll let Brian touch on that when we get to injuries. But Jake, what are you looking for from the Packers defense?
Okay, so I'm gonna say what I gotta say, but I just started looking up JJ McCarthy's stats, and he cannot throw deep, dude. Holy hell, he is bad deep. Deep left, he's 2 for 10. Deep center, 1 for 5. Deep right, 2 for 6. That's ass. That's real bad. I was going to bring up some sack numbers. Brian did that already. They've given up plenty of sacks, turned the ball over plenty. They also don't force many turnovers on their defense. They somehow have less forced turnovers than our defense, which is insane to think about. Wait, maybe they have the same amount. I don't remember. They either have one less or the same amount. On paper, you would look at this game like if you didn't know these teams and you were just getting into football and you're like, oh, the Packers don't have that many good cornerbacks. Oh, the Vikings have a lot of good skill position players. They should be a bad matchup for the Packers. And then enter in the quarterback, and holy crap. I wish I knew the name of this guy, but some dude made a list he makes a list every week of the top 5 worst throws that he sees from quarterbacks in the NFL every week. He had 3 honorable mentions. All
Dang.
for JJ McCarthy. And then 4 of his top 5 were JJ McCarthy, bro.
Sheesh.
When I tell you I watched that video 3 times and I laughed every single time, oh my God, I was
Yeah, Steve said with those receivers too. Oh, Steve, you're gonna love my Simon Says.
It's crazy. But the last thing that I will say is you got to tackle. Tackling has to improve. It doesn't matter if it's in the run or against the pass. We have to tackle better. I do not want to go back to those years where I have to worry about when a guy catches the ball if he's going to get 10 to 20 extra yards after somebody tries to just launch themselves at him. So let's tackle and let's get to the quarterback.
Simon, what are you looking for from the Packers defense?
I kind of echoed a lot of what Bryant said. I think another thing too, and just in general about JJ McCarthy, is he's first in the league in turnover worthy play percentage. Yeah, it's not good. And then he's just right now. I give him a lot of the benefit of the doubt. He is in basically his first year, but that's something the Packers need to capitalize on is making him uncomfortable to make bad decisions and poor throws. And then we also need to capitalize off it too. Can't have any dropped interceptions.
Yeah, that's fair. Bryant, what are you looking for from special teams?
I literally wrote, I don't know. Like it's like a box of chocolates, right? You never know what you're gonna get, or if you're gonna get anything at all. So I don't know. I've said it so many times. I just want the fundamentals, and they can't even do that. So I guess the one thing I'll say: please don't make a play that ruins the game against the team we should beat in Green Bay. I'll say that.
Yeah. Lambeau.
Simon, what are you looking for from the Packers offense?
Honestly, Minnesota's defense isn't that bad. I think versus the run,
head coach. So
nah. You mean in general he's going to be? I thought you said he's going to be the head coach.
No, not their head coach.
Okay. I gotcha.
Brian Flores is a very good coach.
Yeah, honestly, the offensive line is just going to be a huge part of it. Minnesota's 22nd in the league in yards per game on the ground. Unfortunately, losing Josh Jacobs, that just means that Emmanuel Wilson and Chris Brooks are going to have to step up. I don't think Marshawn Lloyd's going to be back this week. I highly doubt it. But there's optimism around his injury that he's going to come back pretty soon, and it'll be interesting to see what they do in the running back room with Josh Jacobs' injury not being that serious. And then just dealing with the blitzes. Like Sean Ryan's going to have to step up and call out the blitzes and just ensure that Jordan Love stays in a clean pocket all game.
Jake, what are you looking for from the Packers offense?
So what I'm looking for from the Packers offense, the Vikings don't have massive sack numbers. They have 26, which sadly is more than us. They rank 10th, tied with 4 other teams in the sack ranking. They're second in hurry percentage at 12.4%, and they're third in total hurries at 41. First in total blitz calls and percentage. They have 145 total blitz calls, and they blitz 43.9% of the time. The Packers O-line has struggled with some A and B gap pressure. But if you look at Jordan Love, and I have the numbers ready here, I'd expect Chris Brooks to play a ton since they do like to blitz a lot, and he's very good at pass pro. Jordan Love, when blitzed, is 67 for 106, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception, 872 yards. He has 6 big-time throws, and he also has 8 drops when blitzed. But other than that, he literally is lighting up the blitz. And the number one guy he's going to have to look for, our best man beater at wide receiver, Christian Watson. He runs the deepest routes. He did last year. He ran over, what was it, like 3.35 or whatever yards per route versus man. Every other wide receiver on the Packers ran barely over a yard, like average against man defense. So Christian Watson is going to be huge against the blitz.
I'm going to jump in because the first thing that I have written down with what I'm looking for from the offense is I'd be happy to see Christian Watson lead the team in targets this week in every aspect of the short yardage, the deep balls, and the red zone. With the red zone, Green Bay is still number 4 in the NFL at 67.5% touchdown percentage. So I'm looking for like 3 out of 4 touchdowns if they can get in the red zone 4 times. However, Minnesota does have the number 4 red zone defense, allowing only 48.4% of red zone trips to end in touchdowns. So even if it's a situation where Packers, if they get like a 3 out of 5, 2 out of 4 wouldn't be awful, but I'd still like to be able to see them play more to kind of how Bryant is saying about doing what we do well versus trying to beat them at what they do. So other than that, I would like to see Matt LaFleur keep letting Jordan Love sling the ball downfield. I do believe that Jordan Love is a guy who can average 275 yards a game and 2.5 touchdowns. Like Jake said, with the Vikings blitzing a ton, I do think there is a potential where this game does end up being a little bit more like the second half against Pittsburgh, where they are throwing a little bit shorter, even though that's something that I've been pretty anti throwing the ball short. If it's to negate pass rush, that's a little bit different because that does end up meaning that it is easier to get to the second level once that happens. doing it against teams who are sending 4 men at the quarterback and then hoping that somebody breaks a tackle or gets a clutch block, that's the shit that pisses me off. So if they're sending extra guys and like Jake said, they're playing a lot of man coverage, then it's different. Then it's like, okay, let's go down and get downfield, trust the protection, and let Christian Watson, and maybe this is the Matthew Golden game that everybody's been wondering about. Bryant, what are you looking for from the offense?
Yeah, so Vikings secondary is decent, is solid. However, Byron Murphy and their safeties have struggled. Harrison Smith is still, we've seen him kill us several times, but he's not playing like, he's older now, put it that way. They've given up 14 touchdowns, only have 3 picks. So I feel like if we catch the ball, I think Jordan Love can have a very efficient game, like something like a 75% completion and just very efficient type of game. One thing that I'm a little worried about is they have been. So we'll talk about the blitzing. They're going to bring a lot of stunts and everything, so we need to be prepared for that. They have 7 players that have 2 sacks or more, so I like that stuff comes from everywhere on that team. They've also been very effective on third down. They're only giving up 31% or something on third down. So, and unfortunately, the way we're playing right now is we feel comfortable getting into third down situations. A lot of times, it gets a little froggy when you're sitting here trying to, okay, well, we'll have a scoring drive, but we're going to have to convert third down 3 to 4 times on this drive. Well, when the NFL average, no one is averaging over 50% on third down. So I'm hoping we can make some bigger plays on first and second down against this defense. I will say they're one of the worst in the leagues on fourth down, they've allowed 8 for 11 conversions on fourth down. So the offense line definitely needs to be ready for those stunts. And I'll say the one person I feel like you kind of need to know where he is at all times is Van Ginkel. Be careful throwing wide receiver screens against this guy. He will jump one and take it to the house. He's a very, very good player. The last thing I'll say, just because, this kind of gives a little jab again at our loyalty. Some players, Eric Wilson has 70 tackles for them, 3.5 sacks and 3 forced fumbles. And it's like, but we couldn't get this guy on the field over McDuffie. That hurts a little bit, but so they have a lot of good players coming from a lot of different areas. So just be ready for the blitz. If we can pick up that blitz and the O-line's ready, I think Jordan Love could have a huge game.
What injury designations are we watching for?
Yeah, so not too many on the Vikings. A big one for them is Grenard. That'd be a big loss for them if he can't play. He was questionable last week. He had practice. I have a feeling he'll return this week. For the Packers, Jaden Reed, and I'll start with Jaden Reed and Jaden Reed and Marshawn Lloyd. I think they're both going to start practicing possibly this week. Matt LaFleur seemed like at least for sure Reed has pretty much already said he's going to open his practice window tomorrow. But I don't think they'll play. I think this will be the type of you let him practice for a week and then maybe we see him in Detroit. Moving on to LVN. LVN had 2 practices last week. I feel like if he practices all week this week, he'll play. Quay Walker was a stinger. We might see him limited. Maybe he'll miss one week practice, and then I think he'll be fine this week. Nate Hobbs is getting towards that chance that he could start ramping it back up again. We'll see. Josh Jacobs, it's weird because they just say contusion with some swelling. Well, contusion is just a bruise, but that you don't know how big of a bruise that is, or is it a bone bruise, or is it just a bruise on the skin? You know what I mean? So I feel like they would have said bone bruise if it was bone bruise. So I feel like he just has a bruise. So it really is
spot is what makes it hard to judge.
Yeah, it's on the knee because that wonderful MetLife Stadium. It's like, so can he bend his knee properly and run? If not, he could probably be out this game. But that's pretty much all that it's. Oh, and McManus. Obviously, we got to keep an eye on that. So.
Steve said the cover 2 stat that I shared about Love earlier, that coverage is a staple of Brian Flores' defense.
Slow down, Steve.
Jake, what's the weather going to be like?
So crazy, but if you grew up in the state of Wisconsin, this is kind of how it goes. It snows today. We got a little bit of snow. I don't know how much did you get, Tyler? Like 2 inches, 3 inches?
Couple inches.
Yeah,
it's already starting to melt.
We probably got about 2 inches to it.
I got 0.
Look at Simon down in Texas.
Yeah.
Just fucking Alaska for 3 years. Give the guy a break.
Yeah, that's fair. So on Sunday it says sunshine and clouds mixed, high of 53 degrees, winds west southwest 5 to 10 miles. Dude,
that sounds like
what I saw today. I was like, God damn, that's a nice ass day.
Yeah, it's a nice day
for late November. Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Okay. Simon, I'll let you go first. Who is your X factor?
I have Rashawn Gary.
It's a good one. Bryant, who's your X factor?
Do we still do matchups?
You can do matchup as an X factor.
Okay, well, my X factor is Jordan Love, but my matchup basically is Jordan Love versus Brian Flores and his defense. So,
Jake, what about you?
I also have that, and I was fooling around on Sharp Football Analysis, really good website if you guys have never been on there. They break down a lot of like percentage of man coverage, percentage of zone coverage, and they run 18.5% man coverage, as the Minnesota Vikings do, 75.2% zone coverage, which Jordan Love absolutely destroys, by the way. And they have a stat that says middle open rate, and that means like middle of the field is like wide open. 63.8%. They are the number one worst team, and that has a lot to do with the cover 2 that Steve is talking about. I wrote down the numbers for Jordan Love between the numbers, which technically would be the middle open rate. 108 for 137. That is a 79 completion percentage. 1,104 or 94 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 2 picks.
Is that good?
If you pick up the blitz, please, Chris Brooks, do your job. Love is gonna fucking fry these motherfuckers, dude.
Is that good?
Fry them. It's gonna be awesome.
So let me offer some very enjoyable numbers on the other side of the field as well. My X factor is Jeff Hafley, and I kind of tease this with the defensive line. Jeff Hafley played a lot of 2-down linemen last week against the Giants, and then we got gashed by the run, which didn't love that. But play less 2-down linemen this week, especially versus JJ McCarthy. Pressure makes him panic. JJ McCarthy's NFL rating under pressure last week was 13.9. 100 is average. His was 13.9 when he was under pressure last week.
Dang.
is that good?
That's Nathan Peterman could have thrown the ball into the ground 30 times and it would have had a better grade back. So let's go into score predictions. Brian, give me your score prediction from the head.
24-17.
All right, I have the same margin of victory. I have 27-20. Naturally, the Packers are going to score 27 to win again.
Go ahead.
I also have 27 points to win the game.
Nice.
I get to 21.
I have 28-20.
All right. Justin said 24-21. God, I hope this game isn't decided by a field goal.
God.
Bryant from the heart.
30-17.
I also have that.
All right. I have 35-13.
I'd love it.
You have 35-13? 34-13, bro. Damn.
You suck.
I know, my fault.
All right. Bryant, how many Simon Says you got this week?
3. I did bring it
fucking knew it.
home. I
right.
did bring. All right. So the first offensive one, I cooked this one up a little bit. Okay. The Packers' longest play on the season is 59 yards. The longest play the Vikings have given up is 80 yards. I put that the Packers will have a new long play on the season, and Matthew Golden will go for a 70-yard plus touchdown.
That'd be hilarious. That is bold.
Hell yeah, I like that.
I like it, but I don't think it's going to happen.
It could be Christian Watson, too. One of those two.
Oh, dude, if they go like a first play deep ball to Christian Watson and he catches it this time.
This is what's going to happen. Savion Williams is going to return that first kickoff to the 30-yard line, and that the first play is going to be, -1 yard or something to Manuel Wilson, and then we're just going to bomb it.
Now you're starting to get a little too realistic, Brian.
Dude, if the first play goes for -1 yards to Emmanuel Wilson, I'm going to be sitting there laughing my ass off, and everybody around me is going to be like, the fuck are you laughing at?
Dude, you need him to get 1 yard and then the pass to Watson, because then it'd be a 69-yarder.
Yeah, but then I wouldn't hit my 70-yard prediction, but 69 would be fine, too. That'd still be new long.
Yeah.
We'll compromise for a 69-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
All right, Jake, you got an offensive one?
I do. 4 different players catch a touchdown.
Ooh, I like that.
But 4 different players catch a touchdown. Yeah. That's
So I'm going to mine plays off of what I've been wanting to see from the offense. Mine is that Jordan Love's average depth of target is in double digits and has 2 touchdowns of 20+ yards.
Ooh, I like that.
2 20-yard touchdown passes is nice. That would be pretty sick. I like that.
All right, Bryant, you got one for defense?
I do. I put that the Packers get their first defensive touchdown of the season.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
JJ McCarthy is a great candidate for that. That's a good one.
Yep.
All right, Jake, you got one for defense?
I do. Xavier McKinney gets 2 interceptions.
They could be
McKinney. He's never seen him before.
And JJ likes to overthrow the ball. So if he overthrows in the middle of the field.
I'm just saying.
It's not bad. Bryant, I want you to give your next one because I want to save mine for last.
All right, my bonus one, and I kind of alluded to it, and Jake even added more to it. I put that my bonus one is that Jordan Love has a 75% completion percentage, at least 250 yards and 3 touchdowns, just super efficient.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Before you say yours, since you want to go last, JJ McCarthy throws 2 picks and takes 4 sacks, and then Chris Brooks touchdown.
Oh, hell yeah.
Chris Brooks touchdown is crazy. I love that. I love that.
I'm on board with all that.
Yeah.
All right. So my last one is a defensive one. I have one that the Packers defense is good enough to make either Justin Jefferson or Jordan Addison slam their helmet on the bench.
I think there's a 100% chance that happens.
Yeah.
I do think that Jefferson has grown up. I think if it was going to be somebody, it'd be Addison. He seems like he's the hothead.
Jefferson was looking pissed last week.
Yeah, he looked.
He's starting to get a little mad.
I think that was more like frustration from, dude, how do you overthrow Justin Jefferson, bro? That guy literally catches everything, dude.
And
he did have a big drop or like 1 or 2 drops last week, though, actually.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's fair.
But his head might not be in the game because he's getting pissed off.
That's fair.
Just saying. All right. Well, we appreciate everybody hanging around and all the comments. We appreciate it. That's why we do the show live, so people can comment and give their thoughts and bounce ideas off of us as well. And Steve came with some great stats as well, which we appreciate. We will be back again next Tuesday. We'll be recapping the game against the Vikings and then previewing the Thanksgiving matchup with the Lions. So join us again next Tuesday. Other than that, Jake and I will be live tomorrow recapping Bucks and Badgers basketball and the Badgers football game. Other than that, we'll see you guys next week, and go Pack.
Go Pack.